Today, I have my friend Matt Adams, the president of Factor One Studios, here to share with you some things to do to make sure you don't get burned when you're selecting a web design company. Hi, I'm Emily LaRouche. Are you ready to make the journey from lawyer to entrepreneur? Every week, I'm sitting down with people who have mastered the art of running a business and want to share with you the lessons they've learned along the way. Join me as we experience the highs, the lows, and everything in between as we learn, share, and grow together. Welcome to Share the Love. Matt, thank you for taking a time out from being head of intergalactic operations at Factor One to come here and help us. Like realtors, seems like web designers are everywhere you look. Everyone's brother can make you a website. And who do you trust? How do you choose the right studio for your company? When I needed advice and I wanted to make sure it was not BS advice, you're the guy I call. So, what's the story between your tagline, worry-free websites?
That actually came from just some brand strategy work. We've used a couple brand strategists over the years to help our clients tell their story. And I was just having coffee one day, and a friend of mine was like, well, why haven't you ever done this? I'm like, I don't know. And so I quickly had to call the lady we use for brand strategy, and she came out, and we did a whole bunch of customer research. We surveyed over 100 of our clients. And in that process, we started picking up on a couple of keywords. What were their concerns before hiring us? What were some of the terrible things they had dealt with? And worry was a very common word. Out of the 100, I think 46 used the word worry directly. They were worried about their site. They were worried about their site's performance on their business. They were worried their web developer was going to leave them high and dry, hold them hostage, just some sort of terrible thing. And so worry was a very common word used often. Or if they didn't use it in that sense, they were, hey, I don't have to worry about my site anymore. And so it was all just customer driven for us. And it's really become a kind of internal mantra. We hold all of our employees accountable. It's one of those things that I can say is HR, is accounting, is business development team, is a designer, is a developer. They're all accountable to creating worry-free websites for our clients. And so it just makes it really easy to say that this is the one thing you're accountable for.
I love it. So when I called Matt and said, Matt, help me, I need some advice and I need it straight. I want to make sure it's absolutely 100% unfiltered, not salesy. I'm going to get the real deal from Matt. And he goes, our tagline is worry-free websites. That's what we do. And I'm like, oh, yes, that's exactly. And that's why I know you're a straight shooter and I can always go to you.
That's why you called in to start with.
Yes.
You were worried about what you were getting and you were already in the process, I believe, and it was already too late. And you were worried about how to get out of it.
Yes.
And so it was an easy approach.
Worried. Yes, I worried nonstop until I called you. So what are some things that we should ask up front to make sure that we're making the right decision for our company?
Yeah, you asked me that question, and I was actually really thinking through. There's so many things. I actually made a list. You were encouraging me to make a list of what are 5 great things? I think I ended up like 30. So one of the biggest things we run into is just understanding what you're getting for what you're paying for. I've had a number of friends and other clients come to us, and they tell me they spent $8,000 or $10,000 for their site, and I start looking at it, and it's something that's dated. It's something that's a couple years old already because the person they selected ended up using a template from years ago. A friend of ours, actually a friend of ours that we know, a realtor, he ended up coming to us with the similar problem. The site was a disaster. I started digging into it, and I found other realtor logos, other realtor headshots for this custom site had been rinsed and repeated for years. I went and looked at their other websites from that agency who built that. They're all the same. And so he ended up spending $8,000 on a site that was supposed to be custom. It was several years old to start with, and it was rinse and repeat of other work. So I think one of the real key questions is what are you getting for that money? Is it a custom piece? Is it a template that someone's going to modify? And it's fine if you know that, and it's fine if the price is right for that. But when you're paying custom site prices and getting a rinse and repeat aged piece of junk, it should cost accordingly. And it's one thing if that's what you're going into from a budget standpoint. But when you're paying full price and getting kind of fleeced in that, it's really disappointing. And this client, he was really stuck, and he was like, well, I don't have any money left to fix it. And so we ended up helping him a little bit. It wasn't my favorite thing to do. I only did it because he was a friend. But otherwise, he would have been really, SOL.
Yeah.
Unfortunately. So it's, know what you're getting, and then know the legal terms on it. Do you own this? I believe that was one of the things we talked about with a couple people, and even your side was, you own it, but then all of a sudden someone's holding it hostage because they want to charge you a fee to move it. Well, was that clear and upfront in the contract ahead of time? So just understanding who owns it, where does it come from, where does it go, can you take this somewhere else? Can somebody else work on this project? Or are you really stuck and locked into their proprietary system?
Right. And I think maybe, and it makes sense, you want to create residual income. So it'd be ideal if you design my website, then you do the updates. But sometimes updates can be done a lot cheaper using a freelancer, doing it yourself. And so something that I would want to know is, can I get in? Can I make any changes? Can I give anyone else admin access? Or is it something I have to run by you and get your permission? So that's something that I personally would ask going forward.
Yeah, and it's something that's actually, it's come up a lot in conversation. So we actually put it as part of our proposals. We say, like, you own this, it's yours, it's a full copyright release, you own the project, you want to spin up another company and copy and paste the whole thing over? Great, I don't care, it's yours. It's we're hired guns, basically, at this point. It's
Right.
Your thing, it's your baby, you own it, it's your investment. If you break it and you want us to fix it, we'll take a look. So we put that out there as well. Like, hey, any modifications you or another, like maybe a freelancer makes that could cause damage to the site, we're happy to dig into it, figure out the right answer. But making sure that they know what they're getting into and they know they own it, they understand they own it. And so it's kind of like a car. Like, if you don't take care of it, bad things can happen. If someone shady on the side of the street does your oil change and breaks something, no problem. The dealer can take care of it, but it's going to cost you.
Right.
And so we try to make sure that's all up front.
And when I first said, I'm going to get my website redesigned, it's time, I can't tell you how many people gave me, they read me the riot act because of the cost of getting a custom site, which I know, because I've done a little digging. I know the difference between a template and a custom. And they were like, you can get a website for $1,500, $2,000. So can you speak to what to expect for a site in the like $3,000 and under range?
Yeah, so I would expect no one's going to create anything custom for you at that price. They just can't. If they are, it needs to be really heavily scrutinized. There's going to be a lot there that they're not doing for you. Every now and then you'll find someone who's just super gung-ho. You'll find someone who's eager to do something great, and they're just kind of using you as a stepping point, a learning tool. And that's okay if you know that. Also expect that might take a little longer. Small projects that are under that $3,000 mark are going to be highly templatized. They're going to be very fill in the blank. They're going to be very quick. It is what do you want the homepage to say? What images do you want? Where do you want to go? The end. They're not going to hold your hand through the whole process. They're not going to lead the strategy side. They're not going to really dive into your customer base or analytics, figure out what needs to happen where. It's more of you tell them what pages you want, what they should say, and that's it.
Right.
Pick your colors, pick your brand is about all I would expect out of that. Anything more is probably a stretch.
And so when we're looking at, say, like a $10,000 website, is it reasonable to expect that, like you met with the branding expert, that you're also going to want to find out those same answers? What are your clients worried about so that you know what content to help them create and how to build a website that might do marketing and other things for them?
Yeah, so when you get into that $6,000 to $10,000 range, that's where you should expect a lot of homework. That's where you should expect research to be done, a lot of strategy. You really should figure out that this agency who's helping you with this, they're going to be digging into why you, what makes you the best at what you're doing, and how can we better communicate that? Because a pretty site only goes so far. Pretty expires really quickly, both in longevity but also with your clients. So if someone's visiting your site, you're just another pretty site in the blip of all the pretty sites. We were just doing some research for a client who does short-term rental management. I found 50 really great sites. I can't remember a single one of them. And I was searching for short-term rental managers in a specific market, and all I could find was pretty sites, so they all just said the same thing. And so we're really trying to help position him as what makes you unique.
Yeah.
What's special about you. And so we're doing that strategy, we're doing that research. We're looking at what are called red routes, which is what path does a user take from the homepage to the learn more page to the sign up page? Like, what are the routes a user takes? And that's different than just looking at popular pages. Because for him, the popular pages were how it works and FAQs. What's interesting is those aren't pages that people took to get to a contact form. That was other page workflows. And so it was really interesting for us to see the average user that converts takes a different path than the popular pages.
Oh.
And so the question is why? What's that path like? What are they doing here? Let's talk about these people, because we know they all filled out the form, so it's a matter of how many of these did we convert? Why were they filling out the form? Was it just more questions? Were they stuck? Well, we really dove into that. And that's actually really play out into the strategy of the design and the development of the project.
Awesome.
So we want to make sure that we're delivering something that actually has value to him for years, not just looks pretty for this year.
So would it be appropriate to say, okay, we're looking at a family law website and we're seeing that we might think the path that people are taking to get to the contact us is this route, but we're actually seeing them going through and looking at the divorce checklist. Maybe that's the point where we insert a contact. Is that the kind of analytics that you look at?
Yes, it is.
Okay.
That as well as the demographics of what types of people are here, why do they choose you in the first place, what is it that makes you attractive to somebody else. A lot of lawyers, they want to do just one thing really well, especially like in family law. Okay, great. Well, what's your niche? What's your thing about family law? Is it family law in Sun Lakes that speaks to this people? One of our clients is in Sun Lakes. So he speaks to senior citizens really well. Senior citizens love him. They bring him cookies. He's like part of their family now. And it's just that approach that he has, and it's what makes him unique. And he stays in that space. He stays in his lane, so to speak.
Yeah. I think that's really important and something that we talked before about the scarcity mentality, that sometimes folks are afraid to niche or really address one audience because they think it alienates everyone. Mm-hmm. And I don't think that's true. I think it actually attracts more people in because you can speak in a more custom way to people to create a connection.
That works well. It works well for you as well. I mean, I know you went from being a lot of things for a lot of people to really focusing on the law firms. That's been really helpful for you. But in the web world, I actually find that's actually a negative.
Really?
So I've taken over a lot of projects from agencies or companies that only do law websites or only do this. And the thing I found, only do real estate websites. And the thing I find is that they're so stuck in that one little space that they lack a lot of creativity. It's a lot of rinse and repeat work. That's where you find that this site is exactly the same as the others. And you run into just a lack of service there because they're really just trying to do that one thing and that one thing really well, which is great for them, but they lack the diversity to be able to understand other markets and to get out of that box. Back to like pricing point, that's really great in that $3,000 space and under. That works really well because they know what they're doing.
Right.
But in that custom space where you're trying to take your business to the next level, that's actually a hurtful thing. And then they also don't adapt to the needs you have. We have a law firm in Southern California. He's the #1 divorce attorney in San Diego area. He's locked into a contract. He was stuck with them for years. They kept pushing SEO terms on him. He's like, I don't want SEO. I don't want to be #1 organically on Google for a divorce attorney. I don't want those customers. He's the #1 in a very high-end clientele. And the company he was stuck with for a long time would not listen to him. They had to stick to their pattern, their process, their checklist. I can't fault them for that. It's great that they have it, but it doesn't work for them. And so when you're thinking about like your business and where you want to go, it may not align with those but those really single-focused people.
What do you think about hiring an agency that does it all? They say, we're going to build your site, we're going to do the SEO, we're going to do the marketing. Can you be great at all of those things?
Yes, it generally comes with a very high price tag. It's going to be a very well-known agency, bigger agencies. They're going to need to be 12 to 15 people on staff. Okay,
so our general viewership are just small law firms. So for our smaller law firms, they belong with a creative person who can see their vision and help to put it onto the web.
Yes.
Okay.
And you want to find someone who's well-versed in SEO, well-versed in marketing strategy so that they can help with all those things. Like our team, we do on-site SEO. We build sites that are really set up right for SEO. We don't do any actual search engine optimization. That's very content driven. So what we do is we just have partners who we can refer to. I don't get a cut. I don't get a referral fee. I just say, hey, here's 3 great people. Give them a call. They'll help you through actual SEO. Because actual SEO work generally takes $1,000 to a couple $1,000s a month in maintenance. And it's heavy duty work. It's not just set it and forget it. If someone's going to do your SEO for $200 a month, they're not doing anything.
No.
Is generally the answer.
They're taking your money.
They're taking your money. They're really good at taking your money and giving you a Google Analytics report. That's generally it. So.
Perfect. And I always say, like, if you can't afford SEO, do things like blogging, do things you can manage and control, and there's ways to do it.
Yeah.
Without, you don't have to compete with these major firms that are out there.
Exactly. And all they're usually doing is just throwing money. I met one of these big firms who spends $100,000 a month in AdWords campaigns. It's mind-blowing. And they're just throwing money at the wind sometimes. I looked at some of their reporting, and I was like, wow, these are really underperforming.
That's crazy.
And so they're just throwing money at it because they're managing it themselves.
Hopefully you've got some good ideas. If you're looking for a web designer, take some of the things that Matt's talked about today. Make sure to thoroughly interview them. You don't want to end up somewhere where your website is held hostage and you've got to, pay the terrorists to get it back. So make sure and protect yourself on the front end. If you want to talk to Matt, he's offering a free 30-minute sale and pitch-free site review. He's the real deal. No BS, no crap with him. He just gives it to you the way it is. And he's happy to chat about your site, any contract questions that you might have, and identify how you can improve what you have without spending a dime. So visit Factor One Studios. It's Factor, the number one Studios. Click the links below. And before you go, Matt, I have some questions for you.
Oh, yeah? I'm worried about these ones.
Fun stuff I haven't told you.
Okay.
Matt likes to prepare for everything.
I do. I'm very analytical.
I don't think I'd last a minute in your brain. But he's got great ideas. I love to pick it. All right. So what is your favorite business book?
Favorite business book? I really enjoyed Purple Cow from Seth Godin. It's an oldie but a goodie for me. It's one of those ones that just reminds me about being unique in the things that I'm doing, being unique in the way that our customers are doing. And so I'm always trying to help our customers be unique, because they are. They just need help figuring out what that is. Why are they a purple cow? So that one's always stuck with me.
Awesome. That's a good one. I know you love to ride. What's your favorite place to ride? And then do you mountain bike or do you do like road bikes?
I do both. I got started, I've been mountain biking since I was 10. I was pretty competitive as a high schooler mountain biking all through my 20s. And then I got into road biking as a way to exercise for mountain biking, because I was actually competing in state level events for mountain biking. Got into road biking more and more. I really enjoyed it. It's something I can do out my front door. I don't have to drive anywhere. So I love mountain biking still. I still mountain bike pretty frequently. I go up to Flagstaff whenever I can. I like mountain biking in the mountains. Here in Arizona in the valley, it's just not my favorite. I do it, but...
Where's the coolest place you've ever ridden?
I did a Century, which is a 100-mile bike ride in San Luis Obispo. And it was just amazing. I mean, it's foggy. It was fall, and so actually they were picking roses.
Aww.
And so I got to ride up, it was like a grueling hill. It was just torturous of 20 minutes of climbing. There's like rose gardens left and right. You're like, how can I be upset about this terrible climb? Because there's just rose gardens left and right. It smelled amazing.
That's awesome.
There's just rolling hills. It was beautiful.
Better than the stench of the ride, right?
Yes, exactly. In a big group of people.
Awesome. What is your go-to comfort food?
Oh, man. I'm a real big pizza and beer fan. Or ice cream. Can't go wrong with ice cream.
What is the coolest perk about working at Factor One?
We only work about 34 hours a week.
Yes.
Very religiously. We make people leave. We have half days on Fridays. Everyone seems to really enjoy that. We've talked about, hey, should we work more, make more money? Should we, take employee trips places, do those team building days? Maybe, and other than maybe going bowling or going to a baseball game, everybody would rather just have more time to themselves.
I totally agree. I think my team's the same way. To connect with Matt, click on the links below. Visit factor1studios.com. Thank you so much for being here.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you so much for watching this episode of Share the Love. Make sure to give us a thumbs up, share, and subscribe on iTunes, Stitcher, YouTube, and Google Play to get the latest content.